Hi everyone, welcome to another one of my videos. I'd like to go through the timeline of the Breda Murders and subsequent to that the first sort of 6 or 7 months after the attacks, and then just to kind of put in perspective what happened and when it happened. So as mentioned, the attacks took place on the 27th of January at the ZALZE Golf Estate. ZALZE then quickly releases a statement that there was no break-in in the Breda house, and this was released on public media, so everybody involved would know about this and have access to these records in case they were interested in potentially who might have been behind these attacks. Here's some news websites where you can read up about that on Eyewitness News, and what you'll see on the URL 27 January 2015. So then at least you know when ZALZE released that statement. Obviously the homeowners on that expensive estate were panicking. You can read that article, perhaps pause the screen. They're obviously panicking and worrying about their own safety. So there was no break-in in that house. Then ZALZE on the same day released a statement that there was no breach in security on that expensive golf estate, and they released a statement in the public domain. No breach in security, and there you can see 27th of January 2015 on News 24. There's the headline. Then on the 3rd of March, the Breda family released a statement saying Marli is doing very well and her wounds have almost healed. So she was attacked on the 27th of Jan, and on the 3rd of March, which is about a month later, her wounds have almost healed. And there you can read it as well. That is on the News 24 website. Perhaps if you want to read the whole timeline, just pause the screen. Then on the 23rd of May, there was a break-in at the Stellenbosch Police Department, and some computer equipment was stolen. And then the computer equipment was recovered on the 27th of May, a few days later. So there's the story. On the 23rd of May, computer equipment stolen from the Stellenbosch Serious and Violent Crimes Unit. And this you can also read on News 24. And then, as evident by the article, 27 May, 4 days later, the computers, etc., are recovered. And then 4 months after these attacks, another statement is issued that Marli then has returned to school, and the family says she's fit enough to spend the whole day at school. And this is essentially about 4 months after the attacks. And then you can read it on the 8th of June. You can read the article there also from News 24. And finally, on the 15th of June, which is about 4.5 months after this attack, Marli is then reunited with Henry for the first time since the attack, and she's happy to see him again. There we go. On the 15th of June, Marli and Henry see each other again for the first time in, it says 5 months, it's more like 4.5 months. Bateman, that's her advocate, says Marli is happy to see her brother. That's the spokesman for Marli. Remember, Marli is under heavy protection. You can't publish any photographs of her or anything or the media can't do it. So there you have it, guys. The attacks took place on the 27th of Jan 2015, and on the 15th of June, 4.5 months later, she reunited with Henry, and she was very happy to reunite with him, and in the meantime had access to all this information, knowing that there's no break-in, There's no breach in security at the ZALZE. It is interesting. I'm not saying that they're guilty. I'm not saying they could be very innocent, but I find it interesting that it kind of looks like maybe, Henry is involved here. It kind of looks like it. And I mean, if I was perhaps in her shoes, I would have thought, okay, there's no breach in security, nothing was stolen, no break-in. Guess what? It's probably him, and he used an axe to kill my whole family. Would I be happy to reunite with this guy after 4 months? I mean, how many people do you know? I mean, I'm saying it sounds as though she's got to be quite naive to think, okay, this guy's probably not involved. Because everybody, every single person, I remember this time, whatever, 2 years ago, in 2015, everybody was saying this guy's involved. Like, it was just shotgun, this is the one, okay? But strangely, she was the only person that wasn't thinking, okay, he's involved. Well, perhaps her and her auntie thinking he's involved. I find that very, very interesting. And I find it interesting that her wounds were a lot less than the rest of the family, and that she survived for 4 hours in that house, in his presence, in a semi